What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. It is April 25th, 2022. This is Fightful Wrestling, brought to you by nordvpn.com/Fightful and Manscaped, code Fightful. Check them both out, but leave a thumbs up on this video. Tap the notifications bell. Know when we go live. Subscribe, all that good stuff. We have just a plethora of interviews. Last week, we dropped Rhea Ripley, Dr. Britt Baker, Baron Black, the Good Brothers. This week, we've got Naomi, we've got Matt Hardy, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. RJ City as well. Check it out, youtube.com/Fightful. Subscribing helps us an awful lot. I'll tell you what else helps us. Super chats and humper chats. That's how you get your question or statement read live on the air or answered. And we have a lot of unique insight for this show. We reported on Fightful Select a ton of the happenings that went down on this show. And we're here to talk about it with Denise Salcedo. Denise was on the Impact Rebellion post show just 2 nights ago. Denise, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Sean. I was going to come on here and I had like different ways to start the show, but I've decided just to be simple, old little me today.
Well, here's a good way. Let's go Raptors. The Raptors picked up a big win tonight. I'm happy about that. I'm feeling good. I'm liking it. Get in your super chats or your humper chats. If you don't know what humper chats are, that is over at humperchats.com. It's a Streamlabs PayPal platform. And Greg House says, these humper chats are great because I can send them before the show. UK viewer, so it's a lot better for me. And Fightful get to keep the cash instead of YouTube taking 30%. That is very handy, by the way. And he also says, I haven't watched the most recent review, but seeing Robert and Kate was lovely. Robert smashed it. Well, if you like seeing Robert DeFelice, you're going to enjoy this Wednesday's AEW review because Alex is in the middle of a move right now. So Robert DeFelice will be joining me. And
I love how everyone on Fightful has been moving. First it was Jeremy, then it was me and then Jeremy, and then you, and now Alex, and now let's see who's next.
To the boundary,
Jimmy will be
4
next.
runs.
Greg says, just wanted to say the recent interviews have been ace. Sean, Big Damo, Adam Cole, Britt, as longer interviews killed it. The shorter ones with Rhea, Imperium, and Alicia Atute are funny and great. Keep bringing it. Let's go. I was hoping to interview Alicia again in Dallas, but I didn't get the opportunity to. Our schedules didn't quite match up. But very soon, so I really enjoyed the one with
they're asking the question.
Holiday as well. And our good friend Sabrina Harley is here saying, hi, King Sean Ross Sapp and Queen Denise. I think Denise is more of a jester.
I just don't think you're a king. I'm sorry. No way. I like how instantly you were like, oh, Denise is not a queen, and I'm like, no, Sean's no freaking king. Blah blah blah.
You're a jester at best, except you can't
ready
make
to
me
face
laugh,
their first ball.
But
yeah, well, you're just those guys that stand out there and they do nothing. Those ones with the little red suits that are just like.
Denise, I'll tell you what I am. I'm the person who shows up on your channel and wins everything. That's what I am.
Yeah, you're also the person that gets me in trouble, man. What's up with all of these people coming up to me and being like, can you please tell Sean Ross Sapp to no longer post Twitter posts?
This is really good,
what does it have to do with me? I have nothing to do with that.
God.
Can you, minimize your Twitter drama so that it doesn't roll over to me?
All I did was post 3 polls. I posted Brat and HBK, the TLC3, and then Usos and Young Bucks. And people are like, you're contributing to toxicity. I don't know. Maybe be less toxic. Just cast your ballot and move the hell on.
Sean, you have the most dramatic Twitter account that I know. And now your Twitter drama is leaking over to me.
Well, listen, if there's one thing we like here, it's leaking.
That's right off the meat of the
says,
bat.
we need a Denise versus Marco stunt match. It could be Joey Janela presents Battle at the Chocolate Factory. I think he's calling you all Oompa Loompas.
That's fine with me. I know Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory by heart. So it would actually, yeah, I love that movie. Yeah.
Would you sing us one of the songs?
Lucky to get away
No,
with it,
hell no.
Look white to me.
And you'll be, come on.
I'm not going to sing. No.
Do it.
No.
Let's go. We need to see this.
No, I don't want to. Plus, I just don't have it in my mind right now.
What a bummer. What a bummer. I tried, guys. I tried. Maybe if
What, so you can clip me out and I can be on your Fightful Select clips and then get nothing of that percentage?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, no thanks.
Just one song.
No, because I can't. I'm not in the. I'm not in that
strike turning over.
Mind frame. Like I can't even speak right now. You see?
A pure imagination. Come on, Denise.
No, I don't want to, Sean. Can we please review Raw?
You know who you are.
For there, nice
Denise
shot.
Salcedo. Yeah, thanks.
No. You're being Veruca Salt right now.
I'm always Veruca Salt. She's my soul sister. Yep. Didn't you know I have the bratty section?
One run added.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sabrina says, next up at GCW, we'll see Sean Ross Sapp versus Denise. I'd be shocked if Denise ever worked a match. Like,
no shot on offer.
So what? So that the Twitter trolls can come at me and be like,
well,
remember when wrestling was taken seriously? What?
You're taking the opportunity away from people who worked really hard. If you guys knew how many... The things that Denise has passed up, much less the stuff that she accepted. Unreal. Sports and wrestling experiences. We need Denise World Order.
Confident appeal.
Get on it, Denise.
I know. I just don't have time. I legitimately don't have time for anything.
Well, we've got time for you guys to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. It is the most affordable, exclusive wrestling news service there is. And you know what? We're breaking more news than everybody. We appreciate your support.
Quite a wide line. Lucky not to be called.
Glenn Jacobs, the Mayor Kane, would be back tonight, and he was. He was backstage shaking babies and kissing hands, Denise. What'd you think of Kane popping up?
What can I say that would be okay to say? It bumps me.
We could definitely look to do it. We are about, and that's it. Like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't mean they won't do it, but it doesn't make any sense for me. I'd have Roman beat
Give away
Rock.
a bit too much
that
there.
way Rock goes back to Hollywood. Roman can then gloat about it. Like, that was your idol. That was the guy you thought was going to beat the tribal chief. That guy is the guy you thought was going to beat the head of the table. And all this.
Two runs off that delivery.
Mode. I'm in God mode. I'm in God mode. And he can go off at the crowd, like saying that was the guy you thought was going to do it. And then boom, music hits. Out comes Bron Breakker, or out comes Gunther, or out comes Gable Steveson. Yep. And here's the person that does it. Here's the person that ends it. Because they're young, they're hungry, they're sticking around, they can beat him. They
plays that well.
We can do a feud, we can do loads of stuff. But you can't do loads of stuff with The Rock. He ain't going to stick around. He ain't going to stick around. So for me, The Rock winning is just a dead end. That's what it is. It's a dead end. Like, there's nowhere to go. So I would much rather pull the trigger on a young,
confident appeal.
Gun. And someone that can really, really benefit. But listen, you never know what Vincent Kennedy McMahon is thinking, do you? You never know what that psychopath's thinking. So
ends the over.
Could go any which direction. DJ Dillon said, my dream would probably be to meet you. It should be everyone's dream, DJ Dillon. Yep. I am amazing. And talk about wrestling and have a DJ Dillon, shout out to you. Sounds fun. Like, that's kind of what these are, really. I always think these are just like down the pub type conversations, or a beer, or a tea, or whatever. I kind of, do you know what I mean? We don't really, we just sit back, chat, and you know, discuss stuff. And sometimes we start off talking about WrestleMania Backlash, and then we end up comparing Roman to Hulkamania. But it's just the way it goes. Do you know what I mean? Just go with the flow, don't we? Tharuka said, how about Austin Theory if WWE give him a push? Yeah? Yeah. I think Theory's got work to be done, but as you said, after a couple of years, Theory could get to a point where he can be challenging for the title. The bigger thing would be, can Theory get where he needs to get to in time for where the crowd haven't completely bailed on Roman, because there will come a point where the crowd are bored of Roman, and you're seeing it now. I'm seeing it now. You know, the chat when Roman first turned heel and started doing this were pretty united. This is amazing. There was obviously a few people that were like, nah, I don't like Roman. But as time has gone by, I think Roman has got, not stale, I think the creative has just got a bit repetitive. I suppose
the right arm post bar is coming into the...
I suppose, like, they did really well with the Usos, and, you know, it's him and Jay, and now, oh my God, here's Jimmy. How does that change things? And then, like, the Usos, and then we had the Bloodline, and, you know, there was stuff like that. And then, like, maybe Heyman. What's Heyman going to do? Brock Lesnar's back. Is Heyman going to go with Brock?
Attack from the south end.
These kind of questions and these kind of conundrums and this kind of just these little things just kept things fresh as we were going along, and different opponents for Roman as well. Like this year, we've been kind of scrambling around for opponents because, you know, we've had to use Seth from Raw. And we thought we might get Shinsuke, but that hasn't happened. Now it looks like we're doing the Drew one. I think the story with Brock went on quite a while. I mean, Brock came back at SummerSlam, and that story went from SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania. So it was a long story they told between Brock and Roman. It's a long, long story. So I just think people maybe got a bit tired of that feud, because it was long. And I think people got a bit tired of the fact that there hasn't really been much that's changed. No one new has come in. No one's turned on anyone. And there's not really any like real problems or obstacles or...
One more to the score.
You know, there's not really been too much like that. I mean, Brock wins the Rumble. Brock won Elimination Chamber. They announced it was going to be Brock Roman for, you know, all the belts, biggest main event ever. And I just kind of think some people were on board with it. Some people maybe weren't feeling it. And I think, like, you know, what he needs now is he needs a good feud. Maybe Drew. I don't know how much excitement Drew brings. But he needs a good feud. There needs to be some twists, turns, surprises.
That's racing to the fence.
Need to keep things fresh. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard to keep like everyone on board for a couple of years if Austin Theory was going to be the one.
Bit of frustration showing with that appeal. The umpire not interested.
You know, it might not need 2 years. I mean, I kind of feel like someone like Bron Breakker, if he was to come up and just hit the ground running, look how fast they moved with him in NXT. So quick. So quick. He went from like debuting to being champion in, I couldn't even tell you, 4 months, something like that. I mean, it didn't even feel like 6 months. It was.
Can get these spinning a long way.
You might
Let's see how they go.
That on the main roster, debut him and just have him run through everyone and set his sights on Roman and just go after him quite quick. So, you know, you could be Bron Breakker. Could be Bron Breakker. You can tell Hollywood writers are gonna have talent as producers. If Roman turns face, it won't be as long as the first run, at least half of it, about 3 years. Edward said, Roman beats Cody, yes or no? It's hard, isn't it? It's hard because I can say, nah, Cody will win. Cody will win. Cody needs that title, so Cody will win. But does he need to win the first time of trying? Probably doesn't.
That's what the crowd have come to see. Nicely played.
We're talking about, like, you know,
50 up for the two in the middle here. Good partnership for me.
That you do Roman Cody. Everyone thinks Cody wins, and then actually Roman wins. Cody's gutted that, you know, he's come back to WWE to win the title, and he's failed. And then, you know, he kind of has to try and find his way back to the belt. And then maybe he wins it the second time of trying rather than the first. So it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to say.
And 3 for 1.
It depends what story you want to tell. For me, I think Cody does get the belt eventually. Whether he gets it the first time of trying, I have no idea. The second time, the third time, whether he doesn't beat Roman.
Is that over?
The person that beat Roman, or do you know what I mean? But I do think, definitely, before Cody retires, he will have been WWE champion. I think we're all pretty much on the same page with that. Am I the only one that remembers the Cody
Good
story?
shot.
What do you mean?
Keep up.
Cody and Seth. Would you be up for Cody and Gunther versus Rock and Roman? Would I be up for Cody and Gunther versus Rock and Roman?
Big shout here.
No, because I think Roman's a heel, Rock's a face. I don't think it makes any sense to turn Rock heel.
Nothing the batsman could have done better.
Gunther's
Great
a heel
ball.
and Cody's a face. Really what you would need is Roman and Gunther versus Rock.
So this next ball is a free hit, meaning you can only get out from a run out.
At least you've got the faces on one side and you've got the heels on the other. But I can't say that's a match that I'm desperate to see, to be honest.
Was gone for all money
single
there,
stars
only
being
saved
put in,
by a
like, tag
misdirected
matches
throw.
Doesn't really do anything for me. It's kind of the same as when you have tag teams having solo matches. The FTR one was a bit different the other day because that was against each other. But you know, like when it's Humberto Carrillo taking on Dolph Ziggler.
Bit of a workout, but
Do you know what I mean?
safely
Who cares?
fielded.
Because they're having a singles match, but they're both in a tag team. So why don't they just have a tag match? Why don't we just do Dirty Dogs against Los Lotharios? Why do we need Humberto versus Dolph? It's just killing time. That's all it's for. That's all it's for. Look at what they do with the women tag matches. So, you know, it's Sasha and Naomi. They went up against Rhea and Liv. They didn't just go up against them. No, we had to have Naomi versus Liv. Then we had to have Naomi versus Rhea. We had to have Sasha against Liv. Sasha against
Kept it
Rhea,
fairly tight in that over.
And now we've got them doing the exact same thing with Natalya and Sonya. We've got to have Sasha versus Sonya. Then we're going to have Sasha versus
Full
Naomi.
ball
Then
and
we're
got
gonna
on top of it early.
against Shayna. No, it's still rubbish. It's just rubbish. Just do Naomi and Sasha against Shayna and Natalya. Just do Dirty Dogs against Los Lotharios. I'm not a fan of having, you know, one half of a tag team competing in a singles match, and equally, I'm not really a fan of having single stars put in meaningless tag teams. I think for me, matches should matter. They should mean something. There should be a reason why I'm watching. Why am I watching this? What does this mean in the grand scheme of things? And that goddamn word, momentum. Yes. That goddamn word, when things don't mean anything, when the match doesn't matter at all, and it is literally to kill time.
They get a single.
That's when they wheel out the word momentum. No, this match is really important because, of course, you know, Liv Morgan's going to need momentum. She's going to need momentum. She's going to need to go into that title match with some wins under her belt. So just think of the advantage she'll have if she already has a win over Sasha. And she already has a win over Naomi. And it's going to be a big advantage for her. Shut up. Shut up. It's ridiculous. They don't do that in other sports, do they? Don't do that. We didn't get Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano, but let's just not have the belts on the line.
Bit expensive in that one.
And then whoever wins will have great momentum for when we do have the belts on the line. Just waffle. It's just waffle. It's just waffle that's packaged up. It's waffle that's put in a package and then sold to you. There's like, you know, something that's
the
meant
right
to mean
arm
something
pace
when
bowler
actually it's just
is coming into the attack from the south end.
Did you get copyright strike sorted from a few years ago? No. I've never had a copyright strike removed. If they remove themselves after 3 months, but if ever I've got a copyright strike, and I have had some in the past, they haven't had one for a long time, but they stick around for 3 months.
1 run added.
So if ever I've done a video saying got a copyright strike, then they just resolve themselves.
The keeper with the tape.
I've done the maths, and Roman can hold the championship till next year, and Savage and Mankind and Rock. I don't know what that means. Hang on. I just got mixed up between two.
Whoa, great
It's
shot.
just this chat is so small. I've done the maths, and Roman can hold the championship till next year's WrestleMania. His title reign would be 944. That'd be all right. That would, because to me, he could get through till about Money in the Bank, or SummerSlam. So he needs to get through to next year's WrestleMania, at least. I think once he starts getting to 800 something, surely then people are going to be like, we should get to 1,000. It's not that far. I mean, we're already at
That's hit the pad. Huge appeal.
We're at 6 something, so we're getting there. I feel like we've done the hard
Not sure
work.
how the
We're
batsman
well past
survived
the
that.
halfway point.
He
now.
rejects the appeal.
You know what I mean? Like, if we was on like 300 days in and I was
The
saying
Royals
let's get to 1,000,
only
I
have
could
one
understand people
review,
going, how about
so they
we don't?
must be confident they can reverse
we're
this
past
call.
600 days. And we're past this year's WrestleMania as well, which I always feel is like one of the most likely places the title will change hands. So we're past WrestleMania. We're past 600 odd days. I appreciate there's still a decent way to go, and I appreciate people are starting to get bored. But
That's pitching outside the line. The decision will stand, impacting outside the line. That reaffirms the umpire's decision. It stands, not out.
Let's focus on other things like Cody and Seth. It'll soon go by. Every
Unsuccessful
day
with
that
that review. They have no challenges remaining.
You know what I mean? So I keeping my fingers crossed. Hope we
A
make
new
it to
bowler
1,000.
coming into the attack.
Cody wants to bring the winged eagle back. What are your thoughts?
Edged. What a ball.
Yes,
Big appeal.
Second Den, yes.
Big
bring
wicket
it
there,
back.
but
I
probably
love
not
that
going to
belt.
halt
It's
the
best
momentum.
belt they've ever had. I'm not a fan of the current designs. I think a belt should
A
look
helpful knock and an equally helpful wicket.
It should be something that when you follow
Livingston
it up,
ready to face their first ball.
that is well done. You know, they hold this up now and I'm like, why can I see more of the belt strap than like
He'll get 2 for that.
metal
Great shot.
plating? Like literally the metal plating is like around the edge and then we've got a W. And then the rest of it is just belt strap.
I doubt the
don't really
umpire's
ever
going to
look
give
at
that a
this
second
belt.
look.
That is nice. I wish I could be WWE champion one day. When I looked at the winged eagle, I was like, even as a kid, I was like,
Another run added.
that is really, really nice. I always, even when I was young, I just loved the look of that belt. And yeah, that of all the belts, that's the one that Cody wants to bring back. So I hope he does. I think it'd be a really cool move. I don't think Vince will let him.
Perfect technique
For the
and
reasons we've
placement.
discussed, because they like to give sports teams replicas of the belt, and you don't even need to be a WWE fan to see the logo in the middle to know what that belt represents. So from a marketing and advertising point of view, the belt does a bit of work. You know, you could put someone on stage, you could put that belt around their waist, and you could grab someone and say, who is that? And there is a chance that they would say, I think they've got
The
something
batsman
to do
will
with
want to get the
WWE. I
strike
don't know who
turning
it
over.
is. I think they've got something to do with WWE, because literally they are just wearing a giant WWE logo. It'd be like pushing someone out there, giving them a belt that's got the McDonald's arch on it, right? And saying, who's that? And they'd go, well, I don't know who it is, but I think there's something to do with McDonald's. Yeah. So, like, you don't even need to say anything. It's like the WWE message is going out. If they have the winged
Nearly
eagle,
took out the stumps.
that no, people would look at it and go, I don't know. Who's that? Who's that in that belt? I don't know. Because you would need to know you need to know wrestling to know what the winged eagle is. And if you don't know wrestling, you
Very
ain't gonna know
tidy
Cody,
over
are
that
you?
one.
So if Cody's standing there with the winged eagle, there's a good chance no one will know who he is or who he represents. If he's standing there with the current belt, there's a good chance that people won't know who he is, but they might. I'm not going to say they will. It all depends if they've seen the WWE logo or not. I would imagine most have. There's a chance they'd go, I don't know who it is, but that is the WWE logo. Which is why they, I think, use that belt. So I can't see him winning that battle, to be honest. But I hope he fights a good fight. I mean,
He's beaten all ends up by that.
Doesn't bother me, does it? I don't care if people recognise the belt or not. I just want to be happy. What about Cena, Rock versus Cena?
Is about
Roman
to face their
and
first
Seth?
ball.
What about Cena and Rock versus Roman and
This
Seth?
is
Will it be a
really
big
good,
match?
precise bowling. Another
Be a
dot
big
ball.
match. They did Cena and Rock against, I think it was Miz and R-Truth, you know. Yeah. That was Survivor Series, and I didn't understand it at the time. Did not understand it at the time. Didn't understand why we got that match.
2 runs off that delivery.
And I don't know if I would understand this one. I mean, maybe if it was going to be Cena versus Seth at WrestleMania and Rock versus Roman, you would do that match on a go-home or something. Yep. Or a couple of weeks out. Massive main event of Raw.
1
Cena,
bounce,
Rock
and it goes for
against
4.
Roman and Seth. Or maybe actually you wouldn't do it on Raw, you'd do it on like the Saudi show just before or something. Or if there was a fast lane, you would do it as the main event of that. I don't know. I'd need a story, really, for it. I'm just not a fan of single stars being put together. The positive with Roman and Seth, though, is that you could do a bit of a Shield reunion. Yeah. They were obviously in the Shield. So, you know, in a way, you could make that a bit Shield-esque, which would be fun.
And they get through for 1.
Not a match I'd be crazy for, to be honest. Charlotte versus Roman. Right, we've got 9 minutes. 8 minutes. I said we'd stick around for an hour. We've been here for an hour and 50 minutes. We all know
Great delivery
what I'm
to
like.
find the edge.
I said I'd do an hour. I've done an hour and 50 odd minutes. Not that I care. I enjoy spending time with you guys, but we do need to draw the line under this shenanigans.
1 more added.
So, yeah, we'll do 8 more minutes. And then we could put those W's on the sides.
Appeal for that one.
Middle said Zoom Station. James said AEW was special. Cody leaves. It just looks like WWE versus AEW. WWE took over all the TV time. All hail Hogan, said DJ. Days, are you a Chelsea
Good
fan?
bowling here.
No, I don't
the
mind
dots are
Chelsea,
really
but I'm a
putting
Man
the pressure
United
on.
Steve said, are you surprised Vince has stuck with the Gunther gimmick, saying the mat is sacred? Do you know, that's a good question, actually, because I am a bit surprised at that, because it's not... I mean, it doesn't really... I just don't get
great
it.
shot.
I love Gunther, but I've said before, like, he is saying, like, he's the ring general, and to him, the
He plays
mat
that nicely,
is sacred. Like,
gets
I really
2.
feel like that is a real positive babyface message. That's the kind of thing I'd expect Cesaro to say, like, don't come into this ring and disrespect wrestling. Like, if Gunther kind of feels like he's standing up for the prestige of wrestling, which is
That was quite a good over there.
I love. You know, I hate celebrity matches because I think we make celebrities look way too good when we shouldn't. Yeah. You know,
Overstepping the mark.
I think they should
no
be,
ball calls.
as I said, you know, timekeepers, guest commentators, managers, valets.
The bowler will know the
actually
batsman will be
stepping
looking
into
to
the
hit
ring
this into the stands.
to
How
show
will he
what
counter?
they can do after their 1 month of training. Jog on. Get lost. No. So, like, you know, Gunther talking about how the
That could have gone
mat is
anywhere,
sacred, to me,
but
it's
it
just
went
like one
nowhere.
of the biggest babyface things you could say. I think it's a massive face thing. It's the kind of thing I would expect Cesaro to have said.
What
You
a
know,
delivery.
Matt is
Finds the
sacred.
edge.
He's here to fight for the honour of wrestling. So, yeah, I do find it a bit weird that Gunther says that. But then add in the fact that this is a sports entertainment company more so than a pro wrestling company. And it is strange, isn't it? Because, again, you know, the mat being sacred, how does that really
2 runs
fit
added.
into the modern WWE product? Don't get me wrong, you know, there's good matches that WWE put out. One of my favourite matches is Cody and Seth of this year. I mean, I'm not belittling what WWE put out as a wrestling...
Was gone
match
for all
product
money, but the throw
when
went up
it's
the wrong
you know,
end.
a pay-per-view or whatever. You don't tend to get loads of great stuff on Raw and SmackDown, but the pay-per-views, you know, there's probably going to be a match, probably Cody Seth again.
Misread that
that'll
one.
deliver at
Couldn't get the
WrestleMania.
drive away.
But yeah, It probably is a bit strange that in WWE of all places, there is someone saying the mat is sacred. And then
What a
it's doubly
delivery.
strange
Draws
that
the
person
edge.
is a heel. So there is a bit about it that's a bit weird.
Reasonably good
The
over
past
there.
2 Raws were better than the Raw after WrestleMania, in my opinion, says WWE Spiteful. Alex said, if AEW versus WWE happened, who would you support and who would be the 5 versus 5 teams?
If that was thrown to the
it
other
depends
end,
on who would be
I
on the
think
teams,
you'd be
to
looking
honest,
at another
because,
wicket for sure.
You know, if Danielson and I'd be really interested in. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's a sad
Another
sign
run
of the
added to the
times that
score.
I don't have loads of wrestlers that I'm really passionate for. Like, I love Asuka. I love Gunther.
Shot.
I think Danielson might be the best in-ring wrestler, but him being in Blackpool Combat Club, I like Blackpool Combat Club. I think it's really cool. I like how he's trying to help Wheeler Yuta, but I do miss the solo matches.
That got
from
what it
Danielson.
deserved. Poor
I think when
ball.
Danielson was facing Omega and facing Hangman, you know, there was a couple of bits in the matches.
That's hit the pad. Huge appeal.
Because when in America, when you go to commercial break, we don't. If you're watching on Fight TV. And
Nice
so
shot.
You just kind of see him standing around, like waiting to come back, and it just really takes you out the match. So it's by the way. But
The
then
right
that- then
armour
that-
is coming
those
onto
matches
bowl
were
from the
great.
south end.
So at the Blackpool Combat Club, I feel like we're
Bolt,
shining a spotlight
the
on
left arm
Wheeler
medium
Yuta.
bowler is coming
Obviously
into
we
the
get to see a
attack
bit of
from the south
Moxley.
end.
Like, I really like. God, I have no idea. Wardlow's good. I'll have Wardlow. Omega, Wardlow, Danielson, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara. That's Team AEW. I could get behind that team easily. I like that team. Team WWE
Overstepping
would be,
there, no
would it
ball.
be just really weird to see Cody on
He
Team WWE?
needs to bowl a good one to avoid being
I think
smashed.
I'd do it for the story. So, Cody, Roman, Brock.
Good bowling there. 3 hits can be costly, but it wasn't that time.
I want to say Owens and I want to say Seth. And I feel like that might be the team. Roman, Brock, Cody, Kevin Owens and Seth against Wardlow, Danielson, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin and Kenny Omega. That's my team. Those are my teams. Who would I root for? Do you know what? I wouldn't. I would just sit back and just... I think that would be such a festival of wrestling. Because that match, I know there's
End
like
of the
no
over.
titles on the line or anything, but that is ultimate bragging rights, isn't it? This is WWE, AEW, whoever
This
wins
bowler
it
really
gets
can get
to
these spinning a
brag
long way.
that
Let's see how
are
they go.
the best. And I think that's like, oh, that'd be really interesting to know which way it was going to go. And you know, if it was booked as a 50-50 show, like it's not WWE show, it's not an AEW show, it's a WWE AEW show. That way you wouldn't know how they were going to book it. It's a bit like the Forbidden Door, like that's the show that's not booked by AEW, it's AEW and New Japan. I expect the cards to be
Precision,
50-50.
just a
I reckon
great
New
shot.
Japan will win 50%, AEW will win 50%. But I don't know who wins the main event. And in that kind of an instance, I wouldn't know who would win that main event. So I personally would just sit back and just enjoy it because those people I've picked, I like them all. And as long as Ty Conti's not, as Ty Conti shows up on Team WWE, tell you now. But equally, if Brandy Rhodes shows up on Team
These two have
AEW,
now added 50, going
right,
really
I'm
well.
Honestly, I'm not messing around here. If Ty Conti and Brandy show up, I'm turning the show off. Right, that's exactly what I'm doing. So that's
One
my
more to the
answer.
score.
David Paul, shout out to you, said Sammy and Ty are the new AAA mixed tag team champions from last night's
End of the over.
Mania.
6 runs coming from
I
it.
think that's the new Triple H show, isn't it? That stop motion guy, shout out to you, said, will you bring back the weirdest figure series? Or no? Important question, because I have been watching for years.
Full
says
ball
that
and
stop
got
motion.
on top of it early.
I will be trying to bring back some figure videos. I don't have any plans right now for the weirdest, but that's not to say...
Tries to drive that, but missed times.
I do want figure videos because that is really how the channel started. That is the foundation of the channel. I've not forgotten that. And we went through the pandemic where the shops were closed.
They get a single.
So figure videos, I could have ordered them online, but I've spoken before about how I don't like to do that because for me, I like to go to the shops and the joy of like doing the toy hunt and finding the figures. I had a little system. I would go to the shops, I would do a toy hunt, then the figures I bought, I would review them and I would use them in videos. If I wasn't able to go to the toy hunt, then all the other stuff
One run
followed
added.
didn't follow basically. And then like obviously we had to go really into streams because everyone was stuck at home. Everyone's at home. So it's like, oh my God, like we need
Going to have a change in the commentary box. Joining me now is Mel Jones.
The channel
Thanks, lads.
sort of
Evening to you all. Pretty good innings for the batsmen here. Playing well, but they could have done with a few more runs just to give their bowlers a bit of headroom. A decent total to chase down for the batsmen, but it won't be easy. If they bat smart and not give away cheap wickets, they'll be right in this.
Videos on the channel as well. So yeah, there will be figure videos that come in. I think you'll see videos hit the channel in the summer. The reason why I say that is because I'm still doing the football stuff because of the football season, and that is kind of getting towards the end of the season. That finishes in the next few weeks. So once that's out of the way, I'll have a lot more spare time. And once I've got that spare time, we can get going. So I am working on stuff kind of away from the streams. So there will be like figure videos that come back. You might have seen I did put up a toy hunt the other day. I did mention this. I tried to do a toy
misjudging
hunt.
that one.
I went to the shop, and when I walked into the shop, all the staff were there, like all around the section. So I couldn't really film because like they were even filling up the wrestling section. So I would have been filming as they were like filling it up and all this. And I always like to try and get back to, because like you have to stand back to get the whole range in at Smith's. Because Smith's range is incredible. And I couldn't. There was boxes and there was people, and I was like, oh my God. You know when like you clearly it's like this is not happening. It was one of them. So I got about a minute's worth of footage, and then I gave up. And I was like, wow, I don't know what to do with this footage. I can't do a toy hunt. So I did it as a short, and I chucked it out as a short. So there is a little new footage short that went out on
the fielder throws the opportunity away.
Even when
to the wrong end.
Very tidy over that one.
Even when I
the right arm medium bowler is coming on to bowl from the south end.
But I am trying. So yeah, weirdest figures not on the agenda, but I could see us getting back round to it. So I did enjoy them. Did enjoy those, but I just think to be truthful, I just think we need to update all the figure videos. The amount of comments I get going, oh, this video is so old. We've had this, and this figure out since. Do you know what I mean? I might have done like the best Randy Orton figures, and people are like, "Where's the Ultimate Edition?" It's like, well, the Ultimate Edition came out 2 weeks ago. This video's 3 years old. That's why.
This should be close.
So I probably need to update a lot of things. Why is Brock advertised in the background? I think when they do the posters, they have very limited knowledge as to who's actually what the card is.
Can't make it back against some great work in the field. That's
like
out.
SummerSlam, Brock's on the SummerSlam poster. Now, could they have gone to Vince and asked the question, the marketing department, will Brock be at SummerSlam? They could have done. And he might have said, yes, he will be. Or equally, it might just be a case that he's an active superstar. He's one of the biggest names they've got, so he looks great on a poster. And it's as simple as that. So I really, really, really cannot stress this enough.
Good bowling here. The Dots are putting the pressure right on.
Into the posters. I mean, the poster for, was it WrestleMania 22? Was like, I think John Cena slamming Booker T. They didn't even have a match at WrestleMania 22. They didn't even have a match. Like,
really deserved the wicket. He's put in a fine over.
You would think they were the main event. They didn't have a match. It's madness. There's loads of examples of that where, like, the poster just... has nothing to do necessarily with the show. So, yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, that's a very helpful catch.
If you could pick one person who isn't in AEW or WWE to beat Roman, who do you think it should be? I respect the menu support, as there's not many of us left. Not after this season. If I could pick one person not in AEW or WWE,
and a single taken.
I would pick. I've got one name that's come to my head straight away, but I'm trying to think if there's anyone in New Japan that I would go with. I mean, Okada's quite a nice name, but to be honest, I'm going to say Cara Noir. Cara Noir in
He'll get 2 for that.
Is someone,
good shot.
If you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of. Cara Noir is someone that's about 6 foot something. So height-wise,
good
might
shot.
Just be a little smaller than Roman, but in decent shape, but very different to Roman. It's hard to explain. Used to be a ballet dancer, or has trained in ballet. And so when Cara Noir comes out, he comes out with like his hands down
Mistimes
like this,
that one.
and he comes out with his head down. He's got his face painted all silver, and he comes out to that famous ballet music, the dun 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 dun.
Chance.
Dun, 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 dun. That music, that kind of ballet music, he comes out and it builds and it builds. It's an amazing entrance. And
Mitchell
when it kind of
is the new man at the non-strikers end.
Throws his arms out, and it's like this massive cape, and he looks like a peacock really, because it's got all these like colours and everything on. Throws his arms out like this. He's just like, it's such an epic entrance, Cara Noir's entrance. It is so impressive. And then
Mitchell
when he actually
is the new batsman.
Cara Noir, he's very slick. He's got, as I said, he's got a nice size to him. He's got decent physique as well, you know. Dances, counters.
He's trapped in front there.
But he's not like jacked like, you know, the Warrior or anything. But he's, I just think he is someone that I can definitely see WWE picking up. Very theatrical, very sports entertainment. Can see him being a really intriguing character in a world where there's not many characters now. Do you know what I mean? You've got like a Kevin Owens,
2 runs
Sami
added.
Zayn, Roman Reigns. Like there's not many characters. This is something so theatrical. I think it would work so well on the main roster. I would love to see Cara Noir have like a WrestleMania entrance. Just because I think it would be so interesting. So we spoke about Cara Noir before. I think still currently the Progress World Champion.
Super shot there.
And, you know, the people that have come out of Progress are like Gunther. Gunther's come out of Progress. Tyler Bates come through Progress. So Progress is a bit of a feed-in ground, I think, into NXT UK. So I could definitely see Cara Noir going from Progress to NXT UK.
I could watch that on replay all
Once he's in
day.
NXT UK,
Textbook.
I could see him going from there to NXT to the main roster. So, yeah. I think he's been Progress champion for a while now. But it's just hard to know if he fits the kind of thing that Vince is looking for.
Beauty of a
But he is
delivery
very
there.
sports entertainment. And he can wrestle. He's got all that experience. So it's not like Haaland, who looks amazing, but then apparently, you know, wrestling wasn't up to scratch. So. CM Punk is the only one that would be box
Misreads
office
that a
hit
bit
with
and can't
Vince's
get a
boy
shot away.
Roman at the stupendous farce that is WrestleMania. James said Volta against Cara Noir was freaking awesome. I've still
Perfect
not
technique
seen it, James.
and placement.
I've still not seen it. I need to watch it, and I will watch it. I will watch it. I will watch it tonight. How about that? Apparently on the network. Is it on the network? Volta faced Cara Noir, and James Stansfield was amazing, and I absolutely love him. Finn de Bin said, Days, I got a Max Holloway figure yesterday. Very nice. Yes. Very nice. I don't know what they're doing with those UFC figures anymore, because
Tries
they
to
did a
drive
first
that,
season.
but
There was meant to be
mistimes.
another season. but no idea. They've just gone quiet. No one's talking about them anymore, so I don't know what's happened with all of those. So, yeah, I mean, it's good that you got that because I don't think they're making any more. Right,
6 runs added in the over.
Poll, and Drew and Arcade Bro, 50%, Bloodline, 49%. So that'll be 50.2, 50.3, 50.4. Bloodline would have been 49 point whatever. That's why it...
Great
50,
shot.
50, exactly. So Drew and Arcade Bro just got the advantage in the end. So that's which way you think it's going. But that's amazing, isn't it? Look, 7-8-5. 7-8-5. And
the batsman didn't know where that was going.
And it pretty much 50-50. Elliot said Cara Noir lost that progress title to Jonathan Grisham. Did he? Yes. I didn't hear about that. Oh! Yeah. I didn't know that Grisham was the current progress champ. Good info, Elliot. Appreciate it.
That's a good boundary.
Right, we're done. Awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your Sundays. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. We do have a
super shot.
Actually, Man United against Brentford. It's Man United. So if you want to see me crying, you can join us for that on football days. If not, I will see you for Raw. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Of Serena Deep. So I am very excited for that. There's quite a lot to look forward to, actually. On paper, I would say that this looks to be a really good dynamite. Undisputed elite.
Well, the power play has come to an end
as well, so we're actually going to see a 10-man tag match.
The right armour is coming into the attack from the north end.
Varsity Blondes lead Johnson, Brock Anderson. It's no one that special, to be honest. I would expect Undisputed Elite to win that, but it's going to be interesting to see them working together as like a faction, as a group.
He has played that nicely.
We're seeing Undisputed Elite for the first time together. Certainly the first time I've seen. I don't know if they've done anything on Dark or Elevation or whatever, but Undisputed Elite working together. We've got Deeb and Sheeda in the street fight. FTR going up against each other, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Lance Archer against Wardlow, I am not that bothered by, to be honest. But Wardlow and the Wardlow story, I think, is very good. So even though I'm not that bothered by Lance Archer, I still think should be a fun segment. So
nicely ran there. They'll get
Sammy and Scorpio in a ladder match. I mean, ladder matches are always fun, and I much prefer them when it is just one-on-one. I've seen so many times, probably because of Money in the Bank, but I've seen so many multi-person ladder matches that I don't mind those matches, but they do become spot fests. And actually, I don't know if it was the last ladder match I saw, which was like Cody Sammy. That definitely had a few spots in it as well. The referee was holding the ladder so that they could do things off of it, and there was definitely parts of that didn't quite work for me, but there was some impressive moments in there, and I thought the match overall was pretty strong.
That's some good bowling.
I thought it was, pretty good. But
the right arm medium bowler is coming onto bowl from the south end.
I think that, well, I'm hoping that this one, I don't mind if it's got the odds moment in it. You'd like to think there'll be a moment in there. I just don't want it to be overdone. That's always my concern with these kinds of matches, is that just rather than have a really good competitive match and then finish it with a big moment, a nice looking moment. These big moments tend to be all throughout the
batsman
match.
misjudging that one.
Sometimes we can overdo things. I heard something from Jim Cornette the other day, which I thought was really interesting. And he was saying, when you go to the circus and you saw, a gymnast in the circus, you saw an acrobat. First of all, the first time you saw them do one tumble, it was wow, that's amazing, right? They go up, they do a somersault or something, you go, wow, that's amazing. And then after a while, in order to push it further,
misread that one, couldn't get the drive away.
Wow, that's incredible. And then after a while, someone does 3, and you go, wow, that's amazing. Well, by the time you get to the person doing 3 somersaults, the person that now just does 1 doesn't even get a reaction anymore. Now, because we've started doing 3, the person that's doing 1 just doesn't even like get much of a reaction. People are like, okay, he's just warming up. So what would have been amazingly impressive in the past now becomes he's just, don't worry, he'll get to the good stuff in a minute.
4 runs
not that
added in that over.
Kind of feel that way with ladder matches. Kind of feel like, you know, if you go back to some of those old ladder matches, what they were doing in the past was amazing, but it wasn't the multiple
Too
spots
short.
that
He
we've
saw it
seen
early
now.
and played it well.
And but these multiple spots that we see now don't quite do it for me, to be honest. I just think that everything's a bit OTT.
And 2 runs added to the
So
scoreboard.
we'll see. I'm going into it with high hopes. I don't know quite what to expect from a Scorpio Sky ladder match. So we'll see what comes out of it. But I do. I've seen a lot of multi-man matches with ladders, and as I said, they're good. Some are better than others, of course. But I think it might be the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon WrestleMania 10 that I just hold in such a high regard. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there is a
2
Shawn
runs
Michaels
off
Bret
that
Hart
delivery.
ladder match. It was the first ever ladder match. So the first ever ladder match in WWE is Bret Hart against Shawn Michaels. And it was filmed. It was part of, I think, like an episode of Superstars. And they filmed it because they wanted Vince to be able to watch it and watch it back, because Bret was the one that brought the ladder match to WWE. And Bret said, this is a match I want to do. And he kept going on about it, and Vince wasn't interested. And eventually
They didn't
Vince was
hesitate.
like, okay,
2
look,
runs.
do the match, pick someone, do the match, we'll film it, I'll watch it, right? And that's what they did. So Bret went and got Shawn.
Big appeal.
They were quite, you know, they were on good terms. And he went and got Shawn. And so Bret against Shawn in a ladder match. Shawn didn't really get it. Shawn didn't really understand how to use the ladder, or, you know, he knew how the match worked, but, you know, he certainly didn't have a match in mind like what we got at WrestleMania 10. So if you get a chance to watch that, it's so interesting, the first ever ladder match. It's on the network. And it's Bret versus Shawn. And Bret spoke about it, about how they filmed
And they get a single there.
Wanted to just show it to Vince. And then Vince liked it, but didn't use it straight away. But he liked it, and eventually it was used in WrestleMania 10, and Bret wasn't even in that match. Lol. So he brought it to WWE, and he wasn't even a part of it. And the one that everyone remembers now,
That takes them to a 50 partnership.
And Bret says it really annoyed him. Really annoyed him that they did WrestleMania 10 ladder match and he wasn't even in it. And he was the one that brought it to Vince's attention. So just thought that was fun.
Hit very
Shawn
firmly.
Razor the first ever now? There's one, I think it's from 1992, the first ever one. And as I said, it was on, I think, an episode of Superstars. I think it was Superstars. I might be wrong on that. It could have been a house show that was just taped. I think it was Superstars. But
1 run there.
92, and it's Bret versus Shawn. Bret is, I think, Intercontinental Champion at that time, and I think that's what they were fighting over. So obviously it must have been before SummerSlam, because he loses that title to the British Bulldog. And then, yeah, everyone
And that's
thinks
a single.
First, or not everyone, but a lot of people think the first one is WrestleMania 10, because that one that was done before was not on a pay-per-view, and it wasn't treated as a big deal, and it was literally just done so that Vince could see what it looked like. Just
Reacted
another
well there.
way that
Good
Vince
catch.
has screwed him. Yeah, just another example. Unbelievable. Yeah, well, Bret screwed Bret. Bret screwed Bret, guys, all the way back in 1994.
The right arm fast bowler is
Bret
coming
screwed
into
Bret
the
there,
attack
so.
from the north
So
end.
yeah, anyway, cut a long story short, we'll see how tonight's goes. Hangman has got COVID. He does. Hangman does have COVID, and he said that he won't be on the show tonight. Other news, inspirations have left Impact and Wrestling. I'm sure you've all seen this news. And yeah, it's really weird. I don't know if anyone's heard any kind of like inside information on this, but it's really strange that they're not...
1 run there.
I don't really understand. Like, it's all... They've said they're leaving, and they thank Impact, but they've said to explore other opportunities, but it's all very vague.
What a good shot.
So I don't know if someone's come in and offered them an opportunity, like AEW, or I don't think WWE would. I don't think they would. They should, because they've got women's tag titles, and Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are...
The bowler beating them all ends up
proper
there.
women's tag team. I mean, they're best friends that don't leave each other apart. I mean, it's just a no-brainer that you could keep them as a tag team. So, I mean, they should. And I really like Billie Kay.
Nicely played.
I think Billie Kay's genuinely really funny. So I'd love to see them go back to WWE, but I don't think they'll go to AEW just because they don't have women's tag titles. And would they separate them? Would they separate them and have them as two solo stars? I don't know. I mean, I would think there's probably better singles wrestlers out there that they've not gone and got yet. So, you know, like Ember Moon. Ember Moon, I think, is really good. They haven't gone and got Ember Moon. Mia Yim, I think, is really good. They haven't gone and got Mia Yim. So it'd be weird for them to reach out and get Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, but I don't know. Or maybe they're going into acting or something. I genuinely don't know. I haven't heard anything, so it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. Inspirations are on a hiatus.
The short one, but saw it early.
They've left wrestling indefinitely, but I don't know why. Jim says, Brett HBK first letter. I think it was a Coliseum video exclusive. Didn't know that. I thought it was on Superstars. Who's the better Iconic? Well, I really like Billie Kay. I think she's got a bigger personality than Peyton.
The bowler beats the bat.
Actually, in ring, I don't think there's too much between them. Maybe Peyton is slightly ahead, just a little bit cleaner, but I don't think there's much in it. I think
just a lack of concentration
personality it puts her over the edge for me. They technically didn't say they retired. They said they were leaving wrestling indefinitely. It's weird, isn't it? I just found it weird. I saw it.
And a single taken.
I read it, and I was expecting them to announce, like, you know, I suppose in a way, you can't, if you're going to a rival wrestling company, you can't really say, like,
reasonably good over there.
They might want to keep it a surprise. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know how much AEW like their surprises, and, well, wrestling. I say wrestling, I mean WWE do as well. So, you know, maybe they can't announce it. If they were going into acting,
doesn't play that one well.
Maybe you don't want to say in case it falls through or something. I feel like they've got something lined up. They must have. You wouldn't leave that job if you didn't, unless there's been budget cuts and they've been asked to go, but then wouldn't Impact announce that they've kind of trimmed the budget, and why would they only cut them? They're the only ones that have gone, as far as I know. It feels more like they've left to pursue another opportunity, but they haven't said what the other opportunity is yet,
well fielded. That was headed to the boundary.
We'll find out.
They'll get one more.
Peyton is the better wrestler. Billie is the better character.
टीचर बनेगा तो जाएगा, बार बार नहीं बोलते हैं कि जिसको जितना मिले उतना कम, बस यही। मैं कहता हूँ स्ट्रीम का फर्स्ट हाफ GTA, सेकंड हाफ पढ़ाई होनी चाहिए। बिल्कुल। अजय को अपनी 12वीं याद आ रही है। अजय को इसमें टीचर याद आ रही है। हाँ तो मैं वो हो जाएगी ना, मेरी कंप्लीट कर लूँगा मैं। हो जाएगी। डैडी तो अपनी मैट्रिक्स पार कर लियो, जितना टाइम तूने कंप्यूटर पे लगाया था थोड़ा किताबों में बिता लियो। ठीक है भाई, कर लेंगे। टॉको तो रहेगा स्पेशल चाइल्ड। अरे वो इसके लिए अलग कोर्सेज होंगे, सबके लिए किताबें हैं, चौकों के लिए स्लेट पे लिखी जा रही हैं। कहाँ से पढ़ रहा है? तो मैं आगे तो क्या? हाँ वही। अंदर से डरता है ना तो चौको? बिल्कुल भी नहीं। माँ की याद आती है, माँ की याद।
Bowl. gold. Big all ends
चौको
up.
तेरे साथ कभी ऐसे हुआ है तू बस अपनी मम्मी के पास जाए और फूट फूट के रो पड़े कि मम्मी मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ?
उसके बाद फिर गाना गाता है मैं
This
ऐसा।
bowler knows how to give the ball an almighty tweak. Let's see how they go.
क्यों क्या दिक्कत है?
इसमें दिक्कत क्या है चौको ये बता। जब है तो है क्या हो गया? You have to accept the realities.
भाई ये तो तू मारना बंद कर साले।
नाम बताओ साले का।
शॉको मार दिया। यो वेलकम बैक टू अनदर लाइव स्ट्रीम। क्या हाल है सबके? काफी टाइम, एक हफ्ते बाद हम स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं। क्या चल रहा है? बड़ा
Not
मिस
mucking
किया
about
हमने।
here. First
क्या
ball
बताएं हम
and he's off the
तुमको?
mark.
आज खेल हुआ मेरे साथ, पता है क्या? मैं 2 दिन पहले वापस आया हूँ। मैंने सोचा था कि मैं स्ट्रीम करूंगा, लेकिन फिर मैं क्या देखता हूँ कि लाइट जा रही है दबादब और माना जा रहा है लाइट नहीं आएगी। तो मैंने कहा भाई अब देखो, जबरदस्ती नहीं करूंगा, मैं लाइव स्ट्रीम नहीं करूंगा, ठीक है? तो मैंने कहा छुट्टी मार लेते हैं जब तक लाइट ठीक नहीं हो जाती। उसके अगले 2 दिन तक लाइट गई नहीं एक बार भी, और टचवुड अभी तक नहीं गई है। बस मैं अपना लक देखना चाहता हूँ कि अब काम करता ही नहीं करता है। मैं चैलेंज भी नहीं कर रहा हूँ, जो भी है। गेम स्क्रीन ब्लर, अबे ऐसा कैसे होता है? ओके नहीं, गेम स्क्रीन ब्लर है, एक बार चेक करना।
Bit of a task for the new batsman here, trying to turn this innings around after a steady flow of wickets in recent overs.
बंद कर दूं? लाइट बंद कर दूं?
Chance.
ले लाइट बंद कर दी। ब्राइटनेस बढ़ाइए, लाइट बंद कर दूं? चलो भाई कुछ
They're going to challenge. They've only got
अच्छा,
one
अच्छा,
review,
ठीक है,
so they need to make it count.
भाई अभी मैं गरीब से मिला, ठीक है? हमारा एसी ठीक नहीं हो रहा
Impact is outside the
गरीब
line
को
of the
लगता है वो है
stumps.
इंजीनियर, उसको लगता है ऐसा। उसने कहा मैं ठीक करता हूँ। सामने 2 बटन थे ऊपर नीचे के, जिससे टेम्परेचर घटता बढ़ता है। कहता है कि तुम लोगों को ये नहीं दिखा, तुम इतने बेवकूफ हो।
That was
नहीं, बात
borderline,
ये है कि
but
हमें
we
दिख गया
go
था
with the
वो,
umpire's
लेकिन उससे
call.
होता नहीं था ना।
The
लेकिन
decision
भाई ज्यादा
stands,
तगड़े
not out.
इंजीनियर है।
लॉक था ना भाई, अब क्या कर सकते हैं?
हाँ तो ये आपने बड़ी अपनी वो लगाई। ऐसे ये मूतने गया, वहां कहता रुक जा अभी ठीक करता हूँ, जैसे पता नहीं कितनी जो ऐसे क्या क्या ठीक कर रखा हो।
Another run added.
ये कौन है? ओके, ओ सही, चौको बहुत बढ़िया।
अच्छा वो आप थे?
भाई स्टार्ट कर दो। हाँ मैं था। स्टार्ट कर दो भाई।
भाई तुक्का क्या चल गया?
अरे भाई रेसे लगा दो। डैडी क्यों अरे यार, तेरे चक्कर में मर गया
भाई यार मुझे आपकी सारी गलती है भाई, क्यों मारते हो भाई?
भाई पता नहीं
भाई। फिर से गेटिंग और इट खा लो, लव यू भाई। गेटिंग और इट बार बार खेल के तुम क्या चाहते हो?
That
क्या
is
चाहते हो?
textbook.
मतलब मैं अच्छा ना फील करूं? हाँ
सुबह सुबह अजय सो रहा है, ठीक है, और इसका मुंह इतना बड़ा खुला हुआ है और मेरी नींद खुल चुकी है।
भाई ये ना, ये कपल वाली बात है,
Great
बाद में कर
fielding,
लेंगे।
that's a boundary saved.
ठीक है?
And they go
इसका
through
मुंह
for
ऐसे
one.
खोलता है, हाउ कितना क्यूट लगता है, ये सब कर लेंगे हम बाद में गरीब आराम से।
चलो ठीक है भाई, क्यूट नहीं कह रहा था मैं।
मुझे क्या पता तू वहां तक जाएगा।
मेरे दिमाग में
क्या उस वक्त वो अजय का मिस्टीवियस
making the
गंदी
wrong
सोच
choice
कितनी
with the
गंदी है
throw,
ना।
and the
ऐसा भी
batsman
हो
will be
सकता है
very
उस वक्त
thankful.
अजय का खुला मुंह देख के मुझे समझ में आ गया, हाँ मुझे प्यार है। क्या दिक्कत है भाई? भाई तू दारू
Give
पीता है?
away a bit too much there.
पीता नहीं। आहा क्या हो गया डैडी? दारू के नाम से आहा क्यों निकल गई?
पिटाई हो गई भाई, पिटाई क्या करे क्या करे?
ये कौन है?
मेरे को मैं मार सकता था, मैंने नहीं मारा, मेरे को क्यों मारा?
तो भाई भलाई का जमाना थोड़ी है।
And that's 4.
तू नहीं मारेगा तो कोई और मार देगा। बस फर्क ये है कि भाई तेरे घर का ही बाथरूम है दोनों टाइम पे।
हेलो क्या हेलो?
ऐसे बात नहीं।
ओह शिट, चौको मुझे मार देगा। मार दिया। भाई अब तो ऐसे पुचुक पुचुक करके अरे भाई गेम लगा
Bit
दो
of a task for the new batsman here, trying to turn this innings around after a steady flow of wickets in recent overs.
पोटैटो डेफिन क्यों बैठा है भाई, उसको बुला।
मेरे को क्यों मारा यार, मैंने कुछ कहा था आपसे।
सब मरेंगे सिर्फ
एक दिन तो सभी
I could watch that on replay all day.
Gary bhai, take my name.
Textbook.
Prithviraj Singh. Shout out to you, brother. Aman, you're a star, my child. You're an alpha. Leporis Jebad.
हेलो हेलो
लगाओ ना भाई।
Hi, bro. Tell to Choco, give his land.
Quick to react and takes
भाई
it.
जमीन मांग रहे तुम्हारी।
बता दो
भाई बहुत है, मतलब पूरा समुंदर है भाई इसमें। 10 इंच की जमीन है।
भाई डैडी भाई मेरी गाड़ी
ये किसी जमीन है
भाई मेरी गाड़ी तोड़ी थी किसी ने बस वो
कितना रेट कितना लगाएगा ये बता।
He's played that nicely. Gets
जमीन
two.
का बता, देहाज पे चढ़ा दे।
भाड़े में चढ़ा सकता हूँ।
ब्याज पे सॉरी, ब्याज
10 इंच
पे चढ़ा दे।
10 इंच 10 इंच
The batsmen were playing all their shots that over.
क्या करें?
Very expensive.
वही
ब्याज पे भाई।
ज्वाइन करो बच्चों।
सुमित ब्याज
आजा बच्चों।
पे चढ़ा दे।
अरे हैंग भाई हेलो
Bro, tomorrow is my birthday. Can you please wish me for me in धमाकेदार way, please, bro? नील पंजाबी, हैप्पी बर्थडे। होर्डिंग लगवा दो ना बुर्ज खलीफा के सामने, वो बुर्ज खलीफा पे लिखा आ जाए नील पंजाबी हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू।
आज भी ऐसा लगता है आज इतनी एनर्जी के लिए हमें पहले स्ट्रीम से पहले एक बकरा खाना पड़ेगा।
क्यों
And
ऐसा
they
क्यों?
run 4. Great
ऐसी
running.
energy
बकरा ही खाना पड़ेगा।
पूरा
बकरा खा के कितनी एनर्जी मिलती है तुझे कैसे पता? तू तो वेजिटेरियन है।
हाँ।
मेरे साथ चल।
वाह,
अबे
जब
तो
लोग बकरा खाते हैं उसका नूनू भी खाते हैं।
हर चीज जानने के लिए उसको एक्सपीरियंस होना करना पड़ता है।
अच्छा
तुम दूसरे के एक्सपीरियंस
सही बात है। पोटैटो तभी पोटैटो आज तक वर्जिन है।
वो तो है भाई ये तो है।
He'll get 2 for that. Good
तो
shot.
भाई एक हैंग बात बता गांड मरवाने
नहीं
में
नहीं
दर्द
भाई,
मुझे क्या पता भाई, मैंने थोड़ी एक्सपीरियंस किया है।
भाई अगर तुमने एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया।
These last few overs have changed the momentum of this innings. 3 quick wickets.
Bit of a task for the new batsman here, trying to
डैडी
turn
तो
this
पता
innings
होगा, डैडी अच्छे
around
जानता होगा
after
भाई।
a steady flow of wickets in recent
तो पता
overs.
ही है, मेरी तो कंपनी है एंकी।
अरे
एंग डेरीज, अरे बस क्यों बना दी भाई? अरे सब आप सही है ना? क्या दिक्कत है? सब ऐसे खेलो।
बंदूकें हैं
क्या इस वाले में नहीं है
मिनी।
अरे यार वो रह गया।
अरे व्हाट द फक
अरे भाई साहब ये क्या सीन है? अरे यार
ओ भाई,
Well, that wicket means there's an
अरे
important
पोटैटो
decision
ये
for
कौन
the
है?
captain.
कौन है?
Do you
अरे
reverse it
पकड़ो,
or
पकड़ो,
have another bat?
बंदा भाई ये
मेरे को मत मारना।
नहीं तेरे को नहीं मार रहे।
That's all the cricket for now at least. We hope to see you again soon. But for now,
वो तो
उनकी दिक्कत है ना भाई।
नूब लोग आएंगे तो दिक्कत है ना
भाई
मेरे सामने नहीं उसके सामने, कभी तो जीतने दो मुझको।
ना
आज जीत जा भाई, तू क्या चिंता की